and happy as well. Being happy is important. Being happy is important. I wonder why sometimes when I have these lives, it doesn't post on my oh, now it is on my own channel. On my own channel. Since doing these lives, I only have less and less people following me, which is funny. But that's okay. I'm giving my truth. I'm giving my 2 cents. And if people don't like and dislike, that's perfectly fine with me. That's perfectly fine. As long as they find a good someone for themselves, that's the most important thing. Hopefully they don't go for the mood boys that only because I'm preaching about how not to buy the dip, and maybe they don't like that because maybe they want to buy the dips. And I'm trying to give truths. I'm trying to help people not do bad tactics and mistakes that ultimately cost a lot of money, a lot of bad emotions, and heartache, because the truth is that deep buys eventually will cause heartache. Okay, eventually, we don't know when. I don't know when. No one knows when. No one knows when exactly, but eventually it will cause some heartache. And I don't have a lot of people coming to my lives, so probably it's because I need to have better thumbnails. Seems like you YouTube people just want nasty thumbnails and stuff like that, which is funny, and that's okay, I guess. But if you're here, say hi. So I see some love from you people. If you are here, say hi. It's always good to receive some love from people and see that they are at least liking what I'm trying to do. No one likes to talk to the air. um, so but that's life. Sometimes you just need to talk to the air until you catch up. So without further ado, I don't want to put too much emphasis on anything, so on just waiting for people. So I'm just going to start. So I'm going to share a news article that came from the New York Times. And the reason I want to share it is not because I trade the news. I don't care about the news too much, right? But I want to talk about something that is related to this, and it just helps to have this in front of you. Okay, so the end dives as the BOJ signals. BOJ is the Bank of Japan. No rate hikes while markets are volatile. Okay, so the Bank of Japan hiked a few days ago, and that's why all this market drop happened. Okay, I explained this multiple times already. So if you don't know what I mean exactly, go back to my previous lives and learn what I yesterday's live is good. I explained everything yesterday. So go to that and understand the carry trade between the yen and the dollar, and why all this turmoil or decrease in deep happened. So this helps kind of this news article that came because of the announcement of the Bank of Japan. It's good to stabilize the spirits, right? So instead of continuation of panic, a continued panic, let's call it, okay, and drop of prices more and more down. So they're signaling, you know what, we're not going to cause more volatility. We are reserving the right to rate hike in the future, but as long as this causes volatility, we won't. Meaning they want someone to help them, maybe balance this unwind of the carry trade. Maybe they want the United States to help them in some way, and I explained that yesterday as well. So this comes to just signal more calmness to the market. And just for you to see what I mean by calmness, right? I don't know if you guys are aware of of what this is, but there is something that is called the wix, right? The VIX, sorry, not the wix, the VIX and volatility of the S&P. And as you can see, it shot over 200% in 3 days, in the past, 250% actually, in the past week. Okay, so in 3 days this past week, this caused all this panic of what will happen with that carry trade, which I explained. What will happen to the markets was evident in the VIX that all of a sudden jumped. Now, just for reference, you will see that this doesn't happen, unless really big, things like COVID, right, or like something that happened over here in 2018. I think there was some sort of a crisis over here. I forgot what it was exactly, but now it happened over here again, right? So will this continue or not? I think not too much, because that's why the BOJ kind of came out and kind of alleviated the fears of traders, people's investors around the world, and so on and so forth. But this is an important thing, right? This is an important thing. Again, I'm going to reiterate the fact that I think that this unwind of carry trade is what caused all the panic, and not other narratives like Kamala Harris taking charge, or um, fears of recession. Maybe it doesn't help, fears of geopolitical wars. It doesn't help, right? But this is what caused the shift. How do you say, the straw that broke the camel's back? I think that's the phrase, right? So this was it. Okay, this was the straw that broke the camel's back, or whatever you want to call it. What does this mean for us, right? It means that I'm still short, right? I'm still short. I'm still short ETH. I actually added to my ETH position. Okay, just yesterday I'm almost break even on this add-on, but that's okay because I'm in good profits way over here. And this is something I talked in my private group, on my private service, in one of the updates, the weekly update. I think on Sunday I said that we're going to once we break below this, we need to take a short, right? And I said this, and some people did take the short and some people didn't, and that's okay. I took the short. I'm still in it. This is the best short so far because it exhibited something I call an egg action, right? What's an egg action? An egg action is when you throw an egg and it just splashes on the floor. That's an egg action. In contrast, you have tennis ball action. What would be a tennis ball action? A tennis ball action is where you throw the ball and it bounces, right? So two different reactions to a drop in price, right? The first one, the egg action, means that there's potentially a continuation to the downside. Why? Because it's so weak that it can't even bounce, right? In contrast, the tennis ball action means that potentially it's going to reverse V bottom and continue up, right? However, if you have market-wide pressure, then no one individual coin will go to new all-time highs if it has enough liquidity. If it's very thin in liquidity, maybe, right? But enough liquidity, over $5 million of daily volume, maybe above $10 million value daily volume, it won't go all by itself, probably. Okay, so ETH is just looking so weak. Bitcoin looking stronger just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit, and may very well take us above this 58ish area and maybe above 60 again. But look, right now, what I'm seeing is, you see this moving average, and I'm going to paint it just for you to see. It's this one coming all the way from here. This is the 150-day moving average. This over here is the 200-day moving average. The 150 is already sloping down. The 200 days going sideways almost, and this is not a good look. This means that we lost momentum, right? That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything else. It just means that we lost momentum, all right? Does it mean that we are for sure going down? No, this doesn't predict anything. It's just showing what is right now, right? And I told many times, my way of thinking, my philosophy doesn't have a crystal ball. What I have is good, common sense about narratives that push the market, and I have good common sense about how to execute upon these narratives. Okay, very, very, very important to know these things as a trade. Okay, now if I go to other coins, and let's just take a look at them over here on my focus list, you will see that no, this is not it. This is a stock focus list. Sorry, crypto focus list. You'll see that many of them are as weak as ETH. They had the bounce, right, the 1 day bounce, but they didn't really continue the bounce, right? BCH didn't even have a big bounce. AVAX did not even have a big bounce. AVAX looking like a sweet short potentially, right? I'll put an alert on it. INJ looks like a sweet short potentially, right? Over here. The first good entry, of course, was over here, because you see it had kind of a resistance, kind of support area, right? That was over here, and this was where you should have taken the short. But sometimes you miss it. That's how markets are. You don't take 100% of the opportunities. You actually take like 5 or 10% of the opportunities in front of you. That's how it is, all right? You miss the majority of them, but within that 5 to 10% of opportunities you do take, that's where the money is, right? That's where the money is. Anyways, if you look at more and more coins, you see some have some strength. Others not so much, and these were strong coins that tried to go to new all-time highs earlier, right? And they're not looking at too slick right now. They're looking kind of weak. So overall, my thoughts, even though we had a fundamentally good news and the VIX went down and so on and so forth, I'm seeing more weakness than strength in the market. And I have my money where my mouth is in shorts, okay? One last thing, NVIDIA. Why do you look at Nvidia, Jomo? Why are you looking at Nvidia? Nvidia is a stock market. You trade crypto. Yes, I trade crypto, but I think crypto is a risk asset, just like stocks. And stocks many times can help you find grounds within the bigger picture, right? When I zoom out, this helps me to find grounds. So just for you to see how strong this move was on Nvidia. Nvidia from the lowest low on the bear market made 11, almost 12x, right? Almost 12x in 2 years, right? That's a huge profit for investors, right? In Nvidia, and this led for Nvidia to being the strongest stock, or not the strong, not the biggest move, because some smaller stocks and less liquid made bigger moves. But this is from the mega caps. This is mega cap, billions and trillions of dollars worth of company made an almost a 12x move in less than 2 years. This is phenomenal. So this was the main leader. Nvidia was the main leader of the market. And as you can see, it has topped not too long ago. I actually had an Nvidia position and I sold my first position over, my half position over here, and the second position, the second half, I sold over here below the 10 EMA. The reason I sold over here, believe it or not, is because a friend of mine that I know is quote unquote dumb money bought Nvidia. And I know that he sold the bottom. And whenever he came all of a sudden and told me that he bought because he couldn't bear the pain of seeing Nvidia going more up, I said to myself, right, that's it, I need to sell. So I sold half and I sold the rest of below the 10 EMA, which is where I sell usually. Okay. And lo and behold, it went lower and lower. And now, why am I talking about this? It's because this is an indication. This is an indication that the stock market is kind of in a topping phase, even if it's for a short-term correction for a month, 2 months, which is where I think we are. I don't think we're going to a bear market. And that if stocks are going to be in kind of a correction mode, there's a high probability that Bitcoin will be in the same mode. Moreover, after you see Bitcoin, which is the kind of index, right, for me in crypto, you can see that for a long time it has been topping and having distributions. Okay, so all in all, I have not changed my mind. Even with the Bank of Japan announcement, I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, that took us deeper into the correction mode, and we're probably in a correction mode. I can be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. And as I always say, have opinions, strong opinions, but weakly held. If the information changes, be fast to change with it, right? Always update your, how is it called? Canadian update. I think that's the name of it. Where you have a thesis, but if the information changes, you need to update your thesis with it. Okay. So I don't see any questions. Probably you guys are quiet today, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to ask any questions, keep it to the next, live probably on Sunday. Not tomorrow, not Friday. Friday and Saturday, I don't do usually lives. At least I don't plan them. Maybe I'll make spontaneously. But keep your questions until Sunday. And hopefully, the information that I'm giving for you over here is something valuable for you. All right, everyone. Till next time, no edge and no trade.